English, as a member of family, is developing variety that contracts Chinese cultural identity, but there is much discussion today to whether China English is acceptable as British American English. As a matter of fact, that China English is boasting its own distinctive features on the levels of phonology, words, sentences, and discourse that has been playing or irreplaceable role. The beginning, China English or American English as its standard, which is now generally regarded just two English varieties. So China English has a very good reason to survive and even flourish both at home and abroad, since it has its own advantage of advantage on the level of phonology, lexicon, sentence, and discourse. Distinctive features at the level of phonology. The idea of a standard received pronunciation is a convenient fiction, not a scientific fact. So it means when we ask what goals they are pursuing, most of the Chinese English learners would say they want to acquire the ability to speak standard English as the native speakers do. But actually, there does not exist a single standard in spoken English. Take film as an example. Only by hearing most of Chinese can found whether it is an original Chinese film or a film dubbed from English or Japanese. But unfortunately, all of the film dubbers are native Chinese. Why? Because the film dubbers are not speaking Chinese as native people do. They did some changes deliberately in syllables, stress, tone, and intonation that helps to produce special flavor in line with the foreign atmosphere in film. In other words, they speak English, Chinese, or Japanese Chinese, which can phonologic level reflects the foreign nation's style. It also the same as case with Chinese dubbed into English. China English, a language phenomena with its capacity to voice ideas, clearly effectively reveals its cultural style and national identity in a very cultural or natural manner. Distinctive at the level of vocabulary. We all know that language can hardly survive in isolation, but instead should always be in the close contact with one another, owing the various factors such as colonization, migration, and trade, scientific or art exchanges. Early in Qing Dynasty, English borrowed. Till now there are 65 words derived from silk, such as silky, silkiness, silked, silken, which reflects the high level of silk culture of ancient China. In this period, many transliterations as well as loan translations concerning not only sports and culture, also politics were borrowed into English. Distinctive features at the level of sentence. Due to different ways of thinking, English people attach more attention to hypotaxis and tend to use logical connectives in making a grammatical connection when there is more one independent clause. In Chinese prefer parataxis and they resort to reasoning for achieving logical coherence. Distinctive features at the level of text and discourse. Text and discourse style of language is largely determined by the world outlook, philosophical view, value system, and thinking patterns which vary from nation to nation. There are distinctive differences in the Chinese culture and Western ways of viewing
thinking and expressing. Far from being direct and explicit, the Chinese prefer in particular favor to produce, like for example. In their eyes, if full moon can be compared to beautiful painting, the less full is nothing but romantic poetry. Chinese prefer a roundabout way of presenting the main idea.